Right, great new year to you all. This is a short video for newbies that are just moving into the world of programming and wondering what to get and how to use. We're going to look at three programmers, the cheapest being the CH341, mid-range being the T48 and 56 series, which is the XG Pro, and then the big babby, which is the UHP, or I should say UFPI. The difference being the latter being about £1,000 and the first one being only about £10 or £12. We're going to use a slim because we can read the chip and all the work we need to do without even taking the board out. And I'll try and explain and show you this as we go through the video. So there's your connections if you want to take a shot. The pins, they are numbered where they go to on the reader. Now pin 8 is not there for the simple reason you don't connect pin 8, and pin 4 you need to wire to a ground point. If you look, I've marked on that image 3.3 volt point is on the backup resistor, or if you follow the track down on the end of that diode. Okay, we're going to go into a bit of high-speed wizardry. We're now on the actual board, and I have cleaned the vias very, very carefully to remove the conformal coating. And you can see I'm tinned all 6, and I'm now soldering in some very thin 0.212mm easy solder in enamel copper wire. So we've got... there you go, there's the supply. I've ended up putting it on the diode end. Then what we're going to do is temporarily mount a little bit of header on the edge of the board. The idea of this is just to support the thin wires. It's easier than having them flapping about because they'll snap. And it's very easy just to tack a header on the side and then terminate the copper pins, or the copper wires to the pins on the header. As I say, it don't take very long at all. With a bit of practice you can do it in a few minutes. On to the first programmer. This is the XG Pro T56. It's a slightly bigger brother of the 48. There's not a great deal of difference. The 48 will work just fine. So we've got that on, and we've also got the external supply hooked up. I've set it at about, I think it's 2.6 volt. We'll have a look in a sec. Hang on. There's the power supply. I've got 2.6 and it's thinking about 59 mils, which is reasonably high. I mean, the NOR itself is only a few, but that's other bits on the board. The problem is if you go too high, things like the Southbridge and Syscon can come to life. And of course that will screw any chances up of you getting a good reading, if any at all. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go over to, I think, the reader. So what we want is the XG Pro. Now this is software that comes with the reader. It's free and it's well updated. Every new few chips there's always something new. Great little package. So, okay, let's have a nosy and see what we got. Now, it can detect on here. You can use Select IC 25, so if it's a 25 series chip, it will detect it, but I've already got it set here. So what I'm going to do is hit read. I'm going to show you a couple of problems you can find. Now the first one is here. It's telling us that there's a pin problem because it's you see the red mark. Now that's purely because we don't connect pin 8. That's all. So you can ignore that and on you go. But what I want to show you, I mentioned a little while ago, a problem can arise if you've got two concurrent earths running back to the PC that you've got your programmer on. So on here, if you look, I've got quite a bit running, but the UART, as you can see, is unplugged. Now, if I plug the UART in, which is earthed also to the chassis, so as a programmer, then we'll get a problem. By the way, the mains plug is in, but it's not plugged in, it's isolated. So what we'll do, we'll go back and I'll show you exactly what happens. It also happens if you've got a HDMI connected and it's plugged into your PC as well. What we've got, as you see, we've got the connected the UART, as you can hear. What we're going to do now is go over to the programmer, and what I'm going to do is going to make a read, and you'll see what I mean. So here we go. If we make a read, there you go. It's telling us all the pins are wrong and God knows what else, which can be really a pain in the butt to find. Yes, you can turn off pin detect and check ID, but there's no point, because if you've got something wrong, it's wrong. Now all I'm going to do is unplug the UART and then go across to, so you can see, and all that's connecting is the earth. Oh, just pull the wire off from the PC. In fact, you can create the same problem just by holding that on the chassis. So if we go back to the reader and do it again, it's gone. Okay, now if I sort of split the image a bit, you might be able to see that. What I'm going to do now is do it again, but all I'm going to do is touch the ground of from the PC to the board and try again, and you'll see what I mean. Exactly the same problem, see? It's a ground loop and it can cause all sorts of problems. So that's one worth looking out for. And as I say, without it, the problem's gone away. Yeah, you got one pin showing here, that's normal because of the fact we've got no pin 8 connected. So we've now made sure we've got nothing else connected. We've got 2.6 volts on the chip, so we'll now go for a read, ignore, and there we go. You can see the ID is the AF408. That's always a good thing to remember. It doesn't take long, about 8 seconds to read this particular reader, and there we're done. So what we'll do, we'll save all that, and I've already taken a couple of readings to save time. So what I'm going to do now is come away from this particular reader, and we're going to go over to the most expensive reader on the block, and that is my a UFPI. It's about it's over £1,000. That's about 100 and something. I think it's about 170. The 48's about 90 quid. This one, as I say, is about £1,000 I think now, but it does a lot more than just what we're doing here. The reason I have it is because I use it for a lot of other things that other programmers obviously can't do. But the thing about this as well is it runs quad SPI, so if the chip is up for it, it'll read it at quad speed. That is not such a big deal when you're actually reading, but when you're writing a big chip it is, believe me. Okay, so we'll bring up the UFPI and hit the question mark. It's found the chip and we say OK. So it's telling you that SPI pins are okay. There's the SPID, which we saw on the previous read, EF4019. Register's good, it's a win bond. Voltage, that's actually what's on the pin of the programmer, and we're not using pin 8 if you remember. So the clock frequencies, I'm running it slow, I'm running at 60%, 60 meg, sorry. Can run a lot faster, but if the chip is not set for quad, then you tend to get a lot of errors. So it's no big deal to wait 8 seconds to read it, because that's all it takes for this one. Read, there we go. That's about 8 seconds, I think. Okay, right, well, we'll plonk that into the same folder as the other files, and I'll just rename it. I've done that already, but basically off camera. I've done that because it just saves time. So that's, as I say, the dearest reader. So far, the only thing that's really been great is the fact it's a lot quicker, does give you a lot of information. You can do a lot more. You can change and write and read status registers. There's a lot of things you can do with this, but again, it's probably not necessary for what we're using it for. So we'll pop that out of the way, and we'll nip back to the table, and we'll now go with the smallest fry in the pond, the little CH341A, which for what it is it's a crazy little reader. It really is. But you do need to make sure you've got the modded version with the lead, so it's on 3.3 volt. So we'll plop this in. Now it goes into the board like so. So it does show you on the back, SPI is at the lower end towards this side, and pin 1 is the fourth one up. So right, that's connected. So we now go over and we want to find our software. It's called Neo. There we go, there's Neo running. So we'll just come up and bring her up. And even it shows you on here actually, if you select hardware, say it's 3418, the black, which this one is, it's showing you the mod. You need the mod for 3.3 volt. Down here it's already seen the chip, as you can see. If it doesn't, hit detect, it will list them all here. I'm trying to see it, there it is, 6JV, select, and then hit read up here. Now this takes a fair bit of time. It's not a quickie by any means, so you be prepared to wait for a good few minutes. It's not awful, but it is slow. It really is. Give you an idea how slow it is. We're running this at over 100 times normal speed. It takes, I think it's about 10 to 15 minutes. It's not awful really, but yeah, it is a wait. And if you've got a big chip to read, somewhat like gigabytes, then it does take ages. Right, okay, so there we go. We've read the chip and saved the files. I've actually got a few here that I did earlier on, just to save time. Right, so we've just done the CH341. What I'll do, we'll compare all the files. We've now got the CH341, T56 and UFPI in the same folder. So what we'll do, we'll drag in what we got. Right, we've got 2 of the T56 files, that's 1 and 2. I think I did 3, but it doesn't matter. We'll compare them. That's a good sign, so they're identical. So what we'll do now, we'll grab UFPI and UFPI. So we check those two are the same, and they are. It's always good. If you've got any doubt, do a few more and just make sure they are the same. And then we'll check the CH330 to, I think we check it to the UFPI. That's the most accurate reader here. So we've got the least accurate and the most accurate, or did I get the T56? T56, that's fine. And we'll see what we get. Again, no problem. So there you go, that's the most expensive reader and the cheapest reader, and we've got the same answers for both. Says a lot for them. Right, well, while we're doing this, I might as well validate the NOR file just for fun. It's BWE software, it's for building NORs, repairing NORs and syscons. Great tool if you're into the serious side of working with PS4s and modding. Okay, well, we'll just have a quick look. yeah, I mean it's all going to be good because it's a good working NOR, so it's fine. There we go. Right, well, it's always good to validate. It wasn't necessary with this particular file, but it's always good. What we'll do now is load up the file and write back to the NOR. This can take a fair bit of time. I did make a mistake earlier on when I was reading with the CH341. I think I said it took about 13 minutes to read. It's about 3 or 4 minutes to read, maybe 5. It takes about 13, 20 minutes so to write. That's the big issue with it. But as I say, if you're only using it for the PlayStation work, it's more than adequate. You don't need to go forking out for anything much more expensive. What I'm going to do is stick this into hyperspeed and I'll see you at the end. Right, let's see how far we can wind this thing up so it's not so slow. I think it says 999% faster. Earlier on I said 100% faster. That is also the same speed. I got them mixed up. My bad. So yeah, it's if it wrote at this speed it'd be great. The even the UFPI is not quite this quick. It's fairly quick. It only takes a couple of 3 minutes. But there you go. It's small pence to pay for such a cheap little reader. And as I say, it is reasonably accurate, providing you follow the rules, you know, and do things as they should be done. Okay, well, we're at the end of this write. Yeah, I think it took about 13 or so minutes, which is not awful, not really. The UFPI, I think, read in about 8 seconds, and it wrote, I believe it was just over 2 minutes, just under 3 possibly. And the T56, I think it was about 5 or 6 minutes to write. And the read speed of the T56 was much the same as the UFPI. It was about 8 or 9 seconds, which would be the same for the T48 as well. Probably the best value for programmer at the moment. But anyway, the idea of the video is just to give you some ideas about programmers. You don't always need the dearest. It's just being cautious and clever with what you've got. So as long as you remember the biggest cause of things going wrong for most people is the fact that you get, especially if you're reading the chipping circuit, is the first thing is you get 2 earths, which I showed what can happen. On the T5648, it will tell you you've got an issue, and on the others it won't. It possibly, I think it possibly does on UFPI, sorry, but the CH341A won't. It will read still. Now, the problem with it is you stand a good chance of getting problematic data. So, you know, this is why I say do 3 or 4 reads. If you've got 4 the same, they validate, then you're probably okay. Other than that, I hope this has been of some help, this video. It's more aimed at people. I've had so many messages asking about readers and NORs. I don't want to go into detail with the NOR. This is just purely the programmer itself. And as I say, this is connected in circuit, and this is aimed at the PS4 slim boards. You can do the others in circuit. It's just that most of the other boards you can't get access so easy to the NOR from without taking the board out. Most you have to, although this one is pretty good. Okay, well guys, I hope this has been of help, as I said, and there's some coming up shortly, same board, and we're going to be looking at UART reading and also code reading on a PS4. Again, it'll be a basic, very basic, to show a lot of new guys that it's not that hard to do. So take care, and I will see you shortly.